We are rock and roll, and I'm going to edit this, and it'll be out on Wednesday. But I got to do all that stuff.
Yeah, you do what you need to do. All good.
Yeah, it's fun, but it's definitely a little bit of technical work doing the.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm working.
And thank you for using Zoom. I know this is not your preferred. I could not get Skype to work. I don't, anyway.
That's all right. We have one row with the CEO of E3 Sciences Zoom as well. So we work with it. It's just it's not as easy for the transcribing. So.
Right.
All right, we're gonna do the forgot password for a moment, so I can.
We only have so much time, so get it done.
Okay, I'm getting it done.
All right, well, she's getting started. Let's get into this. So let's start by telling. Well, let's start at the beginning. We're about to start. 3, 2, 1. All right, everyone. We want to introduce Linda Wittington. She is a yoga instructor from Sedona, Arizona. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's right.
That is a beautiful area. I love it. Great for meditation, yoga, and energy.
It's
so
gorgeous.
Let's go ahead and start by telling the listeners a little bit about yourself.
All right. Well, thank you, Juan and Caitlin, for doing this with me. This is great. So yeah, I moved to Sedona about 6 years ago. My boyfriend Tom and I moved here, and we used to live in Jackson, Wyoming prior to that. So one beautiful spot to another. Yeah. So yeah, I've been a yoga teacher. So prior to moving to Sedona, I became certified in yoga in 2011. And when we were living in Jackson, we were both still working for the Park Service, and I was kind of dabbling in teaching yoga, here and there. And then once we moved to Sedona in 2014, everything as far as my yoga teaching just kind of cracked wide open, and it's my full-time job, and it's been my full-time job since we moved here. So it's been really wonderful. So I've just really developed my style as a teacher. I've really found my voice, which is really important, right? To find kind of your unique voice as a teacher.
Yeah.
And so it's just been a tremendous experience being here, in this energy. And we both it's just been the best decision we ever made.
Awesome. I got yoga about 2000. I started my yoga practice. At the same time I started Tai Chi martial arts, and I really enjoyed yoga. What got you into yoga? For me, initially, it was a balance work and flexibility with my martial arts, but what kind of got you into the yoga practice?
Yeah, that's a great question. So back in 2002, I was living and working up in Alaska just for the summer, and a coworker of mine asked me, had I ever done yoga before? And I was like, no, I haven't, but I would really, really love to try it. So it was really this wonderful coworker of mine that kind of opened this door for me. She had a friend that was a teacher. And back then, in my 20s, I used to throw my lower back out all the time. Like I was so active and hiking and backpacking and working out, but I never stretched, ever. Did it occur to me? My 20-year-old brain was like, oh, that's boring, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
So
do that?
Yeah. So, after that first class, it was like coming home. I had one of the most profound experiences. I loved it. I loved the flow. I loved the movement. And really, for the first time, I felt this deep connection to my body and to my breath. And it was a life-changing experience. Yeah.
Nice. So what were you, what's going on in Alaska? You went up there. What were you doing up in Alaska? I'm just a little curious.
Oh, yeah. Well, I was actually working, the guy I was dating at the time, we both got seasonal jobs up it was called Mount McKinley Princess Lodge.
Okay.
And so it was with the cruise line, right? So people would go on the ship, and then they'd come to us when they were on their land tour. So I was just a cocktail waitress up there. I did that for actually 3 summers.
Oh, wow.
And then I eventually got a job with Denali State Park as a naturalist. Anyway, so yeah, that's what took me up to Alaska, though.
Very cool. So what do you got going on? I know you got a few of these prepped. Caitlin went over your website quite thoroughly. She is the analytical one of the So
I'm all math. Well, I wanted to find out, like, what yoga specifically, what has it done for you as an individual, and what do you think it can do for others?
That is such a fantastic question. So yeah, as I was saying, in my 20-year-old brain, back before I tried it, in my mind, it was just sitting and stretching.
Right.
Yep.
And I was just like, oh, please, like, that's just too boring. So anyway, as I was saying so I spent most of my life completely disconnected from my body. Like, I think of, especially in college, right? It was just like, go, 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 study, push, oh, I'm tired, doesn't matter. I feel sick, doesn't matter. Push through it, push through it, push through it, which I feel like most people, sadly, that's how they live their lives. And a lot of it.
We all kind of go through that. I'm invincible and keep going, keep pushing.
Totally.
Right?
Yeah. So what yoga did is it connected me. It closed that gap of disconnection, and I started this journey onto self-love, which is why my website is Journey to Love with Linda, because it really started me on this path of loving myself. And I still struggle with a little bit of this, but not as much. But I used to have, pretty bad depression, debilitating anxiety, worry, and self-doubt. And again, I still go through that. I mean, we're human, but what the yoga is, So what the yoga has done is it's really giving me these tools on how to breathe deeply into my body, connect into my heart space, which is so, so important. Because this is where our truth is, the heart, right? And if this is what really brought me into teaching yoga, was following this guidance of my heart. My head was like, you're crazy, you can't do this. But my heart was like, no, this is what you're meant to do, Linda, right? So does that answer your questions? That's really what, and then my physical body, my back doesn't hurt. I feel, I'm almost 46. And so now at this age, my body, I feel better than I did 20 years ago. There's no doubt. So yeah.
I love that.
We went to high school together, so I'm about to.
We did go to high school.
I definitely understand that. I did want to tackle a little bit on the breath work. The reason is I recently read Breathe by James Nestor. During your classes, how much you emphasize and educate on the breathing process? Because for me personally, I teach meditation. And the breathing process is really a large part of what I use for focus. So how about in your practice? What do you do for the breathing? How much do you emphasize it? And what are some particular breathing techniques that you teach?
Yeah, how does it like tie in to the yoga?
Wow, that's a really good question. So the breath is everything. And I'll tell people this because what I teach is there's many, many forms of yoga, which I love, that you can, someone who wants a very restorative, gentle class, someone wants what they call like that power yoga where you move, there's something for everyone. And I tell people though, without the breath, you're losing the full benefits of the yoga. So I teach vinyasa flow. So that is movement with breath. So it can be, and often is, a very good workout. Your heart rate comes up. And I also teach hot yoga, so you're detoxing and sweating a lot, which I love. But I always tell people, if you're going through your practice and you're panting and just like, oh, I'm muscling through it, which, often we're used to doing, you're losing the benefits of dropping out of the that fight or flight, anxious energy into the body, into the heart. So often what I'll tell people, so every class that I teach begins with breath. So I'll ask them, maybe we're in child's pose or maybe we're seated, and I'll ask them to connect their breath and just breathe deeply, deep, full sustained breaths through the nose, inhale, and out the nose, exhale. So for people that are new to a practice, the nose breath can feel very odd at first because we're used to, especially when we work out, breathing through the mouth, which at times is fine. I'm saying, like, when I hike, I don't breathe through my nose, right? So, and when I work out, same thing. But in our yoga practice, because it is yoga is union, yoking. So it's like, it's connecting the mind to the heart, the body to the spirit. And so in order to do that, we need to really drop in. And then I'll often tell people, so we begin with that connection to breath. And one thing I'll often do in private sessions, or if I'm, if people book me for private sessions through my website, I'll do what's called heart breath, which is one of the most profoundly healing things. So it's really just bringing your hands to your heart, breathing into your heart, and then I'll ask people to start to give the energy of their heart a color and envision just filling their entire body up. So with each exhale, you're filling your body up with this love energy from your heart. And we'll do that. And sometimes we'll expand that energy out, and you can envision sending it to your loved ones, to family. Like, it's really beautifully healing. And then as we go through a yoga practice, I'll remind people constantly, like, how's your breath doing? Are you panting through the mouth? Do you feel tense? Take a moment, come back to your centered breath. So I really will remind them in the beginning and all throughout to the very end of the practice to come into that breath. Yeah.
Very cool.
I love that.
Yeah, I notice with the meditation I teach, I really try and focus on the slow, long inhales and exhales. I'm really focusing on the breath. A lot of people with stress or anxiety, if they learn just to breathe, it really helps them relax the body and kind of de-stress and kind of taking that anxiety. So it's a really good technique. But I definitely know that with yoga, I've done yoga in the past. When I started, using the breath allowed me to reach deeper stretches. Like I was starting a forward bend, and I'd be maybe to my ankles, and then I'd breathe deeper and deeper into it before I knew it, my elbows were on the ground. I mean, it was a really great way to allow those muscles to relax and get even deeper into that stretch. So
that's that's absolutely exactly, because it's not only you're connecting to your body, but you're cultivating this inner heat in the body when you breathe through the nose. So that makes sense. That's really that's really neat. Yeah.
Well, one of the things I wanted to ask was, I understand, some of the foundation, some of the reasons why you went ahead and chose yoga, chose to go ahead and share this with others. What is, I guess, basically the energy or the foundation that you communicate with those that you teach the yoga to?
So whenever I go to teach a group class, and I teach it, well, actually, everything's shifting now because of what's going on in the world.
Right.
Right? Yeah. So, but anyway, in the past, before all this stuff happened, I would teach at spas where you would have visitors come who had never had me as a teacher. I would have my regulars there that had been with me for 6 years. I would have people that were brand new, first time on their yoga mat, to people that have been doing this for decades. My goal and my hope as a teacher is that everyone that enters into a space where I'm teaching, they feel safe and welcome. Because I remember being a beginner yogi and going, and by the way, it took me years to actually get the courage to step foot in a studio. Like, I had a home practice for 7 years. After that summer of Alaska, I did not step foot in a studio until 2009. It's kind of crazy. But anyways, I mean, I just like people to know where I'm coming from. And now to I never could have imagined that I would be teaching yoga. Like, what? But so my goal is everyone feels safe and feel nurtured and feel that whatever that they need from their practice in any given moment, whether it's to really push themselves that day and they feel good about that, or maybe they're exhausted and they've been through so much, or they're going through injury and they know that they can rest and relax and maybe lie on their mat for a little bit or a lot and just breathe into their bodies. So the energy is compassion, and it's self-love. Because that's what I've gained from this practice.
Well, I got to say that is really important. When I got into yoga, I was in my 20s, and the number of AL attendees in a yoga class, I think there were like 2 of us. So I felt a little awkward. I mean, I was interested in setting flexibility and balance, But when I went to the class, I was like, oh, wow, there's only 2 of us here. But I mean, my instructor was really solid, made me feel welcome, and really worked with me. But I can really understand that initial contact for people who have not done yoga. It can be intimidating. It can really be intimidating. You look at some of the people, some of the poses. I mean, some of the poses are really challenging.
Oh, yeah.
Really need to understand, you don't just hop into some of those poses the first time. It takes time and effort and practice to be able to get to some of the balancing poses, some of the really deep flexibility poses. So it's really important to have that safe space. I'm glad you do that with all of your the people you work with, because I had not felt that. Probably would not have continued with yoga. Like I said, I was so uncomfortable being one of 2 males in a really large class of women. I was like, okay, well, just a shot. I don't want to feel too weird, but yeah, it worked out pretty well.
Exactly. Yeah, that's exactly right. And I used to be, when I first started and I first stepped foot in those studios, they always say that, just stay on your mat, just be with yourself and your energy. But it is the human condition. You're kind of looking around and you're like, why can't I do that? And why don't I look like that?
It's always that comparison,
and how are they doing
right?
that?
I should be like that. Oh man, I'm not there. Yeah.
Yeah. And so you're right. And that's such a good point to come to, that when you see someone who maybe it seems effortlessly flowing into something that might be like a difficult balance or something, you don't realize perhaps the decades of work and cultivating this energy behind them that has brought them to that place. So
yeah, for me personally, like I said, flexibility has been important, but one of the things I've noticed with yoga, and I kind of want to get your intake on this, is I've got a lot of aches and pains. We do a very active lifestyle. We do a lot of
you do. I see you guys.
And training. But with the yoga, I do notice that my recovery from the physical training seems to go a lot quicker. So can you speak on a possibly why yoga can help with recovery for people that might do more extreme sports? I've seen a lot of people in professional sports, football, basketball, that take up yoga for recovery. What are the benefits for recovery with yoga?
Gosh, that's fantastic. Yeah. So before moving to Sedona, before moving to Sedona, I lived in Jackson, Wyoming, which is a very, very active mountaineering, climbing. In the winter, it's a ski town. Like, people there are so unbelievably active and fit and in shape. Right. And when I did my yoga teacher training in 2011, we had one man in our program with us. So Max was his name. Yeah, he was fantastic. But he talked about how he had, I would call it a catastrophic fall when he was out skiing one day. And I don't remember all the details, but he said, had it not been for his yoga practice, he would have injured himself so much. It would have been so much worse. The recovery would have taken probably months and months longer. So when you can just start to open the body, again, I think back into the days where I would throw my lower back out all the time, where it would be spasming. I couldn't breathe. My dad's a physician in Colorado Springs.
Right.
Yeah. And I would have to literally, try to get to his office for him to give me a steroid shot. I mean, this happened. I'm not kidding. It was bad multiple times. So when you start to stretch into the muscles in a very gentle, and you just go with the pace of your body, that's another thing to focus on, is just be where you are at. And so breathing into the body, opening and stretching those muscles, it does help in the recovery, because it just creates this space for the body to move and get stronger. So it's such a great accompaniment to, I know you guys do a lot of like weight stuff, and you're active and you're paddleboarding, and whether you're a skier, a runner, all of it, you're going to be helped. Because when I was hiking and backpacking and doing all this cardio, my legs were unbelievably strong, and you get these imbalances in the body if you're not connecting into other parts of the body and moving them in a different way, like a yoga practice where you're stretching and lengthening. And then, because you're often going from right to left side in yoga, you start to learn these imbalances in the body, right? So you're like, oh, wow, my right hip is crazy tight. My left hip is crazy, like really open. What's going on there? And then you can address those issues, and it just brings this whole balance. So yeah, does that make sense?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I love that extra knowledge. I love it. No, I wanted to know from you, like, what is the formatting of your yoga classes? I mean, I know you have the Journey to Love, and how many times do you offer these classes? When is the next time that is expected that you're going to be able to go ahead and offer it?
Right. Imagine with the COVID, they had to change up a little bit.
Yeah.
Tell us about how that's changed your practices. Because we had to do a little change in ourselves, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Totally. All of us, you know what's interesting? All of us through this process, it seems, everyone at least that I've talked to, has had to pivot in their lives because of what's happening. Yeah. So you can look at
homeschooling for kids. That was definitely a big pivot for us.
Oh, you guys, I know those of you with like school-age children right now, totally. So, yeah, okay. So I'm trying to think of how to answer all this. So yeah, let me go back to everything here in Arizona closed down. It was around March 19th. Yoga studios, gyms, like pretty much just everything shut down.
Wiped out.
And then things started to reopen again about mid-May. Now, so basically I had several teaching jobs and I lost all of them except for my job at Hot Yoga. She was able to reopen in May, and we are still open. We just have, half capacity. We don't have a full group in there. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And so this whole process of coming to my website was due to what's happening in the world. And that's why and so what's interesting is coming up in 2 weeks from today, August 15th, I'm offering a workshop, a Journey to Love workshop, which I'm so excited about. So I've offered 3 of these workshops in the past. I offered my first one in October. My second one, I believe, was in maybe December-ish, and then my third one, February. And then I was supposed to do this 4th one in April, and we know what happened. So anyway, my Journey to Love workshops, and that's really where my website, all of this began. It's the steps I've taken to heal myself. So my first one, honor who you are. It's all about creating boundaries for yourself, honoring your feelings, your energy, learning to say no if that's an issue, which used to be a huge issue for me, like saying no.
Right. No,
yeah, and honoring my issues. This next one I'm doing in 2 weeks, it's the journey is the reward. So it's all about understanding life is happening for us, not to us. That's one of my absolute favorite sayings. I don't remember where I first heard it. I don't know who to give credit to, but to understand, so we could all, and including yourselves, right? You could be bitter and angry about what's happening. Businesses shutting down, and you could stay in that anger and resentment and then lose a massive opportunity for growth and shift. And so because I lost most of my yoga jobs, I realized, okay, I've been wanting to get online. I've literally been talking about creating a website of my own for 3 years. Yeah, like, oh, someday, like, people would come to my classes, do you have a website? Oh, not yet, but someday I'll get to it, right?
I'll get to it, right?
I'll get to it. So COVID was like this big kick in the pants, like, here you go, Linda, it's time.
Here's your time. Yeah.
Here's your time. And so so to answer your question, so my Journey to Love, what I offer on that website is just on an appointment basis. So like I offer the one-on-one sessions. I'm working with 3 different clients right now. So it's just a one-on-one basis whenever they book me. The workshops that are on the website can be offered, like if there's a group of people that are here in Sedona and they want to do maybe their own little private workshop, which I'm working with someone now to bring that into fruition. So I teach on a regular basis at the Hot Yoga Studio, and I'm actually teaching at an addiction and recovery center here. I just that fell into my lap recently, which is really phenomenal. But yeah, as far as the website goes, that is all, one-on-one, just kind of whenever they book me. Yeah.
Very cool.
I love that. I love it.
Now I use yoga I treat meditation as a mental and spiritual kind of cleansing, helps me center. When you're doing your yoga, what do you find in the mental focus? Because I notice with those practices that I can be working overtime, family, kids, all kinds of stuff going on. But for me, when I start getting into those practices, for me, it's a real mental break because I have to focus on what I am doing in those practices. And it allows me to kind of take a break from the normal busyness of life. Is that something you kind of focus on as well when you're doing your classes and teaching?
Absolutely. I'll often tell people as when we start class and we're breathing, I'll just say, and that's what I love about breathing through the nose, is it pulls you right into the present moment. So any kind of anxiety or worry that might be pulling you into the future, you know, all the unknowns right now, any maybe regret or pain that might be pulling you into the past, can just simply be let go. And I'll say, see if you can just remain in these four walls. Can you just be on your mat with yourself in this exact moment and tune into what your body is feeling in this exact moment? Because I've noticed there's some days I am so unbelievably exhausted, and it's because it's just sometimes just an emotional release or right what we're going through, and it can take
Life can do that to you, yeah, right?
Yes, it can. Yes, it can. So yeah, it's all about being with yourself on your mat, and that's what I love about it, is it's pulling you into the now. Like, could you imagine what would life be like if we just lived in the now? Like how, oh, I know, like I can't even imagine what that would be like. Yeah, so, and not that I'm not saying, you know, we're human. I don't know that it's 100% realistic, like, oh, I'm always good, but it's a beautiful focus to have, right? Yeah, so.
I think that's one of the things we're experiencing with paddleboarding. It's been about a month and a half since we started with paddleboarding, but being on that paddle on the lake, you really can't take your focus off of it, or you're going to take a swim.
I'm letting you know, my balance, oh my goodness, I cannot think about anything else but, okay, right, left, right, left.
But definitely, yeah, I mean, it's the same thing with yoga. You really need to stay on that focus. You're up there doing a tree pose, and if you are thinking about something else that distracted, you're going to fall over. I mean, it's kind of the same thing where that mental focus needs to lead you. And then, like, it's a real good release from your day-to-days, because we all have stuff going on. I mean, right now, the world's a little bit of a crazy place. Yeah. I agree with you on one thing. COVID has really brought some interesting things in our lives. We've had more time with the kids, the homeschooling, more time together. I mean, being in lockdown for those first couple months, we literally were told, don't leave your house unless you're grocery shopping. And we didn't. We stayed home and kind of followed those instructions. But we were able to spend more time exploring who we were. I mean, we have our workout routines. We were able to incorporate yoga. By the way, I'm going to tell the listeners, we did a class with Linda. It was spectacular.
I forgot about that. That's right.
So we've been working on incorporating more of the yoga into our days. We get a little bit more sun out there, vitamin D. So although this has been a change for a lot of people, we try and look at everything with gratitude. I mean, I'm really grateful to have that extra time with the kids, extra time with Caitlin, and really extra focus. I know a lot of people out there right now, there's a lot of struggle out there, but you have to be able to focus on positive things coming out of this, because if you focus on that negativity, it's going to be a spiral down that drain. It's not going to go forward. All that adversity, we all have challenges, but you have to be able to look on, well, you know what? I am stuck at home, but maybe I'm getting a little more fresh air. Maybe I'm walking the dog, getting a little more exercise. There are benefits out there, and you have to really be able to focus on that, you know?
Yeah.
Oh, I love that. Yeah, I just thought of one of my absolute favorite quotes of all time is by Rumi, and it says, what you seek is seeking you. So you're absolutely right. And that's another huge part of, I always ask people, what are you grateful for today? And that is what's been saving me every day as I go through a gratitude list. Like I was out hiking for a couple of hours today, and I'll just be like, my health this amazing, strong body that allows me to do so many amazing things and to center myself, my family, Tom, my boyfriend, just gratitude, because you cannot be grateful and angry at the same time. They can't exist in the same plane, right? So I absolutely love that. And that's why I was really called to, when I created my website. So my Journey to Love workshops are, it's breath work, it's journaling, it's yoga, it's group share. It's kind of this whole encompassing experience. And so my one-on-one sessions, if you think of that, but it's one-on-one. So I work with people on developing a self-care and healing practice. So just like you're talking about, Juan, so that they can wake up in the morning and not feel this debilitating, maybe anger or worry that is just going to take them into this downward spiral, that you can learn to breathe into your body. I'm getting chills right now. I love that. You can learn to breathe into your heart, connect, because again, this is where we want to live, is in the heart space. You can connect into your heart and know it's going to be okay. And that learning that often these painful times are when our greatest triumphs come out on the other end. Seriously, it's like the pain we go through, it has this capacity to just crack us wide open. Again, if we allow it to, it's all a choice. And so, I love that.
And I work with my clients personally. I tell them where your mind is at, is where your life is going to go.
Totally.
So if your mind is on, oh, wow, this is not good, or wow, this is happening, you're going to kind of guide your life in that direction versus I'm grateful for, and it doesn't have to be a significant thing. It could be something simple. I'm grateful for my relationship. I'm grateful for my ability to earn an income. I mean, whatever it is, but if you can focus and really, really focus on what you're grateful for, a lot of people kind of find that their lives kind of grow and blossom into something really exciting. They're not stuck in that old negative thought pattern. They're really starting to look forward to, I said, even the little things. I get to walk my dog every day. He's my best friend. It's really great. It's just those little things, but if you can focus on them, life and perspectives can change.
What is it? What hashtag manifestation? Is that how it is?
Right? Well, and that's what, just to give you two kudos, I mean, you both, I feel like there are just the embodiment of exactly what you're talking about. I love your positivity. You seem to have one of the most beautiful, loving relationships between two people I've ever seen. I literally just want to thank you. You both are just spreading such motivation and joy. And just like you said, getting to spend time with your kids and you're getting outdoors. It's just, you guys are amazing.
Oh, thank you.
You really are.
Thank you so much.
We really focus on making life what we want it to be. And
totally. And you can tell,
you can focus on all the things out there, and there's a lot going on in the world. There really is, but you can also make the choice that you want to have a life that you want to live. I mean, life's short, and I would rather spend it really trying hard to take care of my family, having a solid relationship, and taking care of my health, my mental well-being. For me, that is a successful life. I may never be a millionaire. I can live with that, but where I'm at right now, family, relationship, I'm happy and I'm content. And I think everyone needs to look at what they're using as a measurement for their success. Are you really worried about that money? Or are you maybe looking at, hey, I want to be happy at what I do for a living? Do I want to have a healthy relationship? Do I want to have hobbies that really excite me and get me going? For a lot of people, that mindset is just something worth just a little tweak from. This is where I think I would be successful versus what am I doing to make myself happy? What am I doing to be kind for others? Because really, when you're kind to others and you help others, it creates a really, really unique situation where it's really hard to be down in the dumps, when you're helping people out. And I don't know. I like positivity, so.
Yeah, that's so true. In my meditation every morning, I always ask, please help me serve. How can I help people? How can I help people heal? Because as you're talking about, when you help someone, you're also helping yourself. I mean, there's no doubt about it. It's this beautiful circular energy that happens. And again, that's also what I love about a yoga practice, especially it is beautiful to have a home practice, which, as I mentioned, I did for a long time.
Right.
But when you can get in that group setting, which I know a lot of places are not able to do right now, which is,
Right,
you
yeah,
know,
right.
it's what it is. But when you can get there, that's what I also love, is you can really connect into the group energy and feel the connection, because we are all connected through love, every one of us. And you can feel that when you're moving and breathing together. Yeah, it's really nice.
Let's speak to that. I mean, I've done group classes. We do, we work together here at home, our yoga.
Yeah.
We train together, and it's really nice. But being in that larger group where everyone's working together, there is a sense of community, a sense of energy, and it's unique and it's different. It's a really great, and I really, at some point when this is all normalized, you know, I'm looking forward to being able to get back to that as well.
Yeah.
You know, and that's in many aspects in life, you know, whether it's your church, your community, your extracurricular activities. Our kids were in a dance class, and we'd go in a dance class and we'd hang out with the parents, and it was just a huge community. We had right before this took off, we had a huge Thanksgiving potluck, and everyone took the kids out, and it was really great. So I am looking forward to when we get past this, that sense of community, because it is really nice. And I know right now we have to do what we have to do, and we're all doing what we can.
Right.
But I definitely understand, especially with your classes, having the larger group, everyone's together, that community builds energy, really builds a closeness between people. So.
Yeah, it really does. And that's why I have like these very, I would call them profound moments in life. And one of them was in 2009. I literally woke up. This is going to sound maybe crazy to some of your listeners, but I literally woke up and I heard it's time. And I knew exactly what that meant. I knew it's time to find a studio, and it's time to put my big girl pants on and go to a studio. Like, yeah. And so I did. And I was like, oh, yeah, okay. Being in the class with the teacher, with the energy of the students, really tremendously healing. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, and there's always that, I mean, that's a life opportunity. Everyone has to know when it's time to take that step. Yeah. A lot of people are really fearful about moving forward and embracing who they were. I mean, I was like that myself when I first got into life coaching and teaching meditation. I was like, okay, who am I to be teaching this? Am I really that?
Oh, that sounds
person?
Like me, yeah.
You know, I had that whole imposter syndrome. I was like,
totally.
You know, I had been at that point, I had about 10 years of studying meditation. And so I went and got my degree in counseling and life coaching. And so I was like, okay, got this piece of paper, I'm certified. But still, there was that little bit of that self-doubt. I was like, still not sure.
I know.
But for a lot of people, you have to take that first step, because everyone has something to offer, and everyone has a unique experience, because no matter where you're at, I mean, this yoga, martial arts, whatever, wherever you're at, there is always somebody that can benefit and learn from your experience.
Absolutely.
Oh my gosh, that's fantastic. It's so true. And that I also had this really profound moment that got me into my yoga teacher training, because in 2011, I was at this point in my life, I would call it the dark night of the soul. I was depressed. I felt lost. I was just like, I'd been working for the Park Service for a long time, which I loved, by the way. This is not about like dissing that. It was I was ready for something more. Yeah. And I didn't quite know what that was. And I felt like I was just beating my head against a door for years. I'm like, oh, just feeling kind of frustrated. And I went hiking by myself one day. And I call it rage hiking. It's really good therapy, by the way. I was like so mad, and I was hiking so fast. I'm going up this hill, and I'm like, oh my gosh.
Getting that out of you.
Yeah. I was so mad. And anger is not like my go-to emotion. I can get very weepy. I can cry, no problem. But anger, sometimes it takes a lot for me to get to that point of anger. Right. So I was there. And I literally, this is such a crazy story. Okay, I'm hiking up this mountain, and I stop. It's like a pressure cooker. Like, I am ready to blow. And I look up to heaven, sky, whatever. And I'm yelling, if you want to call it God, source, whatever, right? I go, what am I supposed to do with my life? I don't understand. Is anyone even listening to me? I'm yelling outside like a crazy person to myself. And I dropped my head, and I went, ugh, like that. I took this big exhale. And in that moment, you guys, I heard yoga teacher training. I heard it, chills all over my body right now. I heard it as if somebody was whispering in my ear going, hello, Linda, this is the answer.
Wake
and I
up.
went, hello. And I went from anger to love in a millisecond. And I went, oh, that's it.
I love it. Oh my goodness.
I know. You guys, I'm covered in chills. It was obviously a life-changing moment, but then I will say immediately following that was, I can't teach yoga. Like, who do I think I am? This is ridiculous. But then I was like, my heart is pulling me. So I love that point, Juan. It's like you just have to take that first step. Like you have to. And I'll tell you, the night before my teacher training, I was on my bed crying, and I'm like, Tom, I can't do it. Like, this is the dumbest idea I've ever had. Who do I think I am? And he's amazing. He's like, Linda, he's like, you've got this. You can do this. And I remember stepping through the doors of that training the first day, taking a deep breath, and I thought, my life is never going to be the same. Like, and it hasn't. And so it's like your head will give you 1,000,001 reasons why you can't do it. The imposter syndrome, who am I? But you're right. Every single one of us has a gift to offer. And so again, it's connecting back to the heart, you guys. It's like if we can connect to that space and just plow through that fear, you're never going to lose the fear. It's always going to be there. Like, by the way, launching this website and stepping out in this way has been utterly terrifying.
Right.
I'm not just like, woohoo, I got this. Like, are you kidding me? No, I've been absolutely terrified. But you just keep moving because your heart, your gut is like, nope, this is what you have to offer. So anyway, I kind of went off on a little tangent, but I just love that. Anyway.
No, it was amazing. You're an amazing teacher. I speak firsthand, and we are going to definitely catch a few more of your online classes. Now, for our listeners, what do you have coming up in the near future? I know you spoke about you have, what is that, seminar? Is it a seminar or workshop? How would you explain it coming up?
Yeah, a workshop. Yeah, yoga workshop. So if anyone is in the Sedona area, it's August 15th. It's from 1 to 3 p.m. The cost is $40. And as I said, it's 2 hours of group share. And there's some people that don't like to share, and that's completely honored. So there's no expectation that you're going to have to, and it's meditation, and it's breath work, and it's yoga and journaling. So it's a really full encompassing experience. And so when you caught my class online, I'm actually not doing that anymore. I decided, and that was another kind of catalyst. I thought, okay, I want to be online, but I want it to be my own. And so again, that's what also drove me to do the Journey to Love. So, so as far as, so that workshop is happening on the 15th. And then if anyone is interested in booking or talking with me about a one-on-one, if they're interested in developing a self-care healing practice, if they have debilitating anxiety, if they're feeling lost, depressed, I have been there. I understand, and I can help you. I can help you learn to just love yourself. And obviously it's beautiful. We can do it online. I'm working with this really cool platform. It's actually called Start Meeting. Okay. So it's really cool. Some of my clients, I work with them live, like what we're doing now. Some of them I'll record a video. So that's another really cool thing I can offer, where I can record a breathwork meditation or a short or long vinyasa flow, like whatever you want. And I give you a link to it, and you can access it anytime you want. So the sessions can be live. I can record stuff for you. It's really lovely. I'm enjoying it. So
we will make sure we link out everything in the notes, so all the show notes will have all the links out there. Now, those who are curious and want to learn more about you, where's the best place to catch you? Do you have, obviously your website, but Instagram, Twitter, where are you most often found?
Yeah, I'm trying to up my social media game, you guys.
Oh, me too.
I know. I'm just currently on Facebook. I probably should do Instagram, but I'm literally, that's all I'm on. It's on Facebook, but I do have, so Linda Wittington, you can find me there. And I also have a Journey to Love with Linda business page on Facebook.
Link both those
So-
definitely to the
Yeah.
show notes. So
Great. Okay.
and that's something I've learned as we've been kind of progressing in this social
Yes.
media journey. It's a little bit of work,
Yeah.
but for us, we noticed that to get our message out, being on Instagram, on the Twitter, on the Facebook,
Yeah.
on the YouTube, on the podcast. I mean, this podcast has been going on for a year and a half, but
Okay.
it's a great way to be able to get your message out there. So, I mean, it's work. But
Absolutely.
we want to share what we can and help people
Yeah.
when we can.
And people seem to be building on being interested now, so that's always a good thing.
You know,
Yeah,
people like to be
absolutely.
happy. All right,
Yeah.
well, before we lock up this interview, would you like to share any final thoughts with the listeners? Maybe something that you really feel is important for the people out there to perhaps hear?
I think what's really important to hear is we're all worthy and we're all enough. And for some reason, there's this part of us that thinks that we're not. And I can remember when I was in my depression and my isolation, it was really bad in college. And I literally would view the world like, gosh, everyone else has got their stuff together. Like I was one, I changed majors constantly, schools, like I didn't know what I wanted. And all my friends and people around me seemed to have kind of this direct focus. You're just like, what is wrong with me? You know, and you can feel very isolated in that space. Like, oh gosh, no one knows what this feels like. And what I've come to find out is we all have our pain and we all have things that we're dealing with. And we're all doing the best that we can. And to know that you're worthy and you're enough in this moment, not 5 pounds from now, 10 pounds from now, or when you have the magic, perfect life, whatever that means, right? That you are worthy, you are loved, and you're worthy of love right in this very moment. So
That is very profound. Thank you. We want to thank you for coming on with us.
Yes, thank you,
And
Linda.
all the listeners out there, go check out our website. Go book her on a one-on-one. Get the help you need. She is there for you.
Yes.
And she will help you if you reach out to her.
I love that. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you. All right, let me pause this part. Oh, where's that?